One final topic of the show, Kevin. Bring us home, producer Kevin. What do you got for us?
Well, I'm thinking ahead because I know we're going to get some news over the next couple of days. So I want to ask you guys, who are some names that we could watch for the next 24 to 48 hours where maybe we're going to wake up tomorrow with that 12 p.m. deadline at the waivers and the Bills are going to sign blank player, and maybe we can get some predictions correct here. So
yeah.
What do
Couple
you
to
think,
watch
Kevin?
out for. It's tough to predict waiver claims because you don't know who in front of the Bills are going to go ahead and get out in front of it. A lot of these guys like Rourke and Zappy. They've in Rourke's case said he's going to sign with the Jacksonville practice squad, so you have to claim him and then put him on your active roster.
It's not practical.
Yeah, I don't see it really by anybody. A lot of teams would probably take on the squad. He's already going to go through. I just don't necessarily see him leaving Doug Peterson. And, it's possible if another team really had a path. But a lot of these guys are going to be similar to that story, just like they are in Buffalo. Andy Isabella isn't going to go to another practice. He's just not, unless someone wants to roster him like Rourke. He's really not going to go to another practice squad. So that's the challenge. I think Christian Kirksey makes sense, especially with Balen Spector going to IR. I think he's the immediate upgrade. I think Germain Ifedi is a guy to watch for. Eric Turner was tweeting about him earlier and what he could be able to do from the right tackle. What would that mean? Would they roster 10 offensive linemen? Probably. I don't think they want to expose Alec Anderson or Vandemark to waivers. So I think it's very possible that they could go that route. So I'm going to go on, on a limb knowing that just a seamless trend. Klein's going to IR. You're going to need the other spot with Shorter to go to a long snapper, Reed Ferguson, or vice versa. The receivers don't really jump out to me. I think like a Christian Kirksey style of player, I would think is a guy could be, could it be Jalen Smith or Deion Jones? Sure. I'm just going to predict for now that, they could go with a Christian Kirksey here to come in, be a veteran leader. We've seen some good play in Houston, would be an upgrade. So my prediction would be Christian Kirksey at this point based on all the other factors, but I still think watch swing tackle. It's not crazy to think they'd bring a guy like Ifedi in who has done it before.
Yeah, I'm going to go along with what Kev was just saying. I'm not really into the prediction game just because I don't know what the Bills are thinking inside as far as, is there a spot? Did they do something intentionally with the roster today to add something at a certain position or not? Christian Kirksey makes sense due to the fact that they tried to pursue him in the past, that he has been a starter, he has experience, and that you could probably put him in and get at least halfway decent production pretty quickly. But other than that, I really don't want to talk about any gambles or anything like that. I think this roster is pretty much locked up for the most part, outside of a few small moves here or there. Nothing that would really make a major difference, in my opinion, on the team in squad going forward.
Yeah, and to clear this up, they do. Chicago can pick every player, essentially look at it like 1,200 players, go through the list, and they can claim whomever they want. Obviously, they need to make a corresponding move, though. And they can't get wild, or their players are just going to be a second round. We'll see how crazy tomorrow gets. Is it going to be very minor? Sometimes it can be 20 players at most, because once again, you do have to keep these guys on the route. You can't just cut them the next week. So there's still a lot of talent out there, and it still could equal 30, 40, 50, 60. It could equal another kind of a snowball effect with waiver moves. Kevin, how about you? What do you see the Bills doing tomorrow, if anything?
My three names would be PJ Walker, Germain Ifedi, and Christian Kirksey, in no particular order, because I like the point that you guys are making about PJ Walker. I think Mike made the point. You talked about the player, Kevin, but I think PJ Walker would make sense because you want to get someone who resembles Josh Allen. Obviously, there is only one Josh Allen, but I think to your point, Mike, if you don't have Andy Reid, it's going to be hard to scheme up a good game plan. So based on what we saw with Ken Dorsey last year, you want someone who can almost emulate what Josh can do and be that dual threat quarterback, because you're going to ask Ken Dorsey to completely flip the script. So I think PJ Walker makes sense from that standpoint. There is a Carolina ties there, and we know how the Bills love their Carolina guys. And then to your point about Ifedi, I think that would make sense too if they want some more depth at right tackle. And then with Christian Kirksey, again, I'll just say this is a guy that's coming off 124 tackles with the Texans. I know the Texans were bad last year, but he did have 148 and 138 tackles in back-to-back years with Cleveland. So 286 tackles in 2 years. I think that's at least a body of veteran presence. With the news of AJ Klein being released and Balin Spector being hurt, they might look to fill that void by getting a proven veteran in that regard.